Okay. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I've got my tea with me in my little cute cup that has this bear hanging off it. It's my favorite mug. I love tea of all kinds. I have like this whole cabinet full of at least like 7 boxes of tea right now, ranging from like apple cinnamon, your normal teas, to like sleep tea or shortbread tea, which is the one that I'm drinking. We've got like herbal dance or something. We've got a bunch of stuff in there, and we've got your traditional like chamomile, orange pekoe, stuff like that. And then we've got some more questionable teas that are still good. Actually, the questionable ones are my favorite ones, which is kind of weird, but also a little telling. This is probably my most classiest tea that I own because it's from David's Tea. If y'all don't know what that is, that's like very hella fancy tea. They have a huge variety of teas. But I don't shop there often because they're also hella expensive, but I love David's Tea. I got this a while ago during like Christmas-y time, so it's kind of like Christmassy vibe tea, which was on sale, so I bought it. It's called caramel shortbread and it's caffeine free, and it's really good. Like if you smell it right now, it literally smells like your grandmother's cookies pulled out of the oven if you're white, and a box of cookies from Longo's if you're not. It's so good. I'll leave a link in the description if y'all are interested in checking it out, if you're tea fanatics like me. Anyways, the reason why I have some tea with me today is so that we can have a little chat. I'm just gonna be having a little chat. We're just gonna be chilling here. Okay. So recently I graduated from high school. In like 2 weeks, I'm gonna be moving into college, and that's gonna be a whole other video or series of videos and a whole other journey. But that's for another day because it's still August, and until it is September, I'm not worrying about school. I kind of just wanted to make a video about what kind of things I wish I had been told before I started high school. I don't really have like an older sibling or like an older sibling kind of figure. I am the older sibling in my family, so I never really had somebody like around my age who has gone through this experience before to tell me what it's like. And so basically what I knew about high school going in was just from TV shows and movies and things like that. And when I actually went into high school, I realized that my experience was very different than what you see in films and TV shows and stuff like that. And there's a reason for that. It's because no one's experience in life in anything is ever going to be the same, right? My experience to me was different, and maybe my friends' high school experiences for themselves was very different, and obviously there will be similarities. School I went to was super great, super inclusive, really big. It had over 2,000 students, which was a very big difference from my middle school, which had about like 500 students max. I went to a school with 95% white people, and I mean, my elementary school and my middle school was kind of like that too. Not as much though. So that was, it's kind of rough when you're in like the formative years of your life and there's not a single like fellow person of color that you can kind of connect with. But like, I never ever felt kind of inferior to others. I never felt excluded from that environment. I went to a really nice school. I had a really good time, and I know that a lot of other people probably might not have had the same experience, and so my experience at high school is definitely not something that you should base your experience off of. This is just kind of like, this is what I've been through. Maybe you'll go through this, maybe you won't. It's kind of just like a guideline, you know, kind of just to prepare yourself or ease yourself into it. Some things that I wish I knew before I went to high school is the group of friends that you go into high school with is definitely not the group of friends that you will be leaving high school with. And you've probably heard this before, but I never realized how true it was till it actually happened to me. So I had a group of friends and we were really close in grade 9, grade 10. When you're kind of in elementary school and middle school and kind of the beginning of high school, you're friends with people because of circumstance. You're friends with them because you see them every single day. Going into high school, we kind of just stayed friends because it was just convenient. It was easy and it was familiar, and high school was new and huge and exciting, but also very scary. And so it was helpful for 13-year-olds to stick together because we already knew each other. But as the years went on, I realized as kind of all of us, we kind of grew into ourselves. It was not a great fit. You learn who you work best with and who doesn't really work best with you in life. And that was a very important lesson that I learned, and something that I cannot emphasize enough. Always maintain those friendships that are important to you. Always respect and listen to the friends that are there for you and be there for them as well. But know when you are being taken advantage of. Know when somebody is just simply not right for you. Figure out how you work best. It was very gradual. It happened in between a group of like 10 different people. And you know, I'm very glad that it happened, because like the friends that I have now are people that I love and care about. And I think that if we didn't go through that whole process before, I wouldn't have these friends that I have today. It's not something you should be afraid of or something you should worry about. And again, it doesn't mean the people you're friends with now in freshman year or going into freshman year, you'll never speak to them again 4 years later. That's not how it works. But it's just through high school, it's very kind of important 4 years of your life where you learn a lot about yourself and the people you surround yourself with. And a lot of the friends you make during high school are not necessarily out of circumstance, but out of your actual interest. You find your people, you find the people who share the same interests as you, and you make friends not just because you have math with them every single day. Another thing that I personally struggled with a lot is if you get one bad grade, it's not the end of the world. And this is another thing that people say all the damn time. And another thing that kids have a lot of trouble kind of really understanding. Because for me, when I started high school, getting an 80 even would be like awful for me. If I got a 75, that's it. I would be in a bathroom stall crying my eyes out, because for me it was unacceptable personally. I'm a brown girl, right? And brown families often preach this idea of, oh, you have to get 90s in all of your classes or you're worthless, basically. Thankfully, I'm so grateful for this. My parents were definitely not like that. They always urged me to try my best, and obviously they did have expectations of me, as any parent would, but they never pressured me or made me feel like a worm because I got a 75 on a math quiz. But still living in that kind of culture, it was difficult, especially also being in STEM. Over time, and even now, it's something that I'm working through on my own, to kind of have realistic expectations for myself and set realistic goals and, you know, actually try to meet those goals, which is the most important thing. Just trying your best, trying to work on the things that you're not super great at. Then you have to kind of reevaluate yourself and kind of get the help you need, or, you know, use the resources that are available to you. And that's something that a lot of people my age, and I know that I struggle with. It's really important that you have realistic expectations for yourself, and even if, you know, the people around you are very supportive of you, it's easy for you to be your own worst enemy. You are supposed to be your greatest support and source of encouragement, right? So that's very important, especially during high school, when oftentimes you might feel alone sometimes. You might feel like even though you have like a good group of friends and your family is supportive, it's really easy to feel lonely. And that's not just a teenager thing, that's a life thing. It's easy to be really hard on yourself, and that's not okay, because you deserve love and support, especially from yourself. You should be your #1 fan, always. It's really important to remember that, even when you're in your darkest moments, even when you've failed your exam or whatever. It's really, really important that you always say, you know what, this did not go as well as I'd hoped. Yeah, this is a really sucky situation, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna start hating myself. This is not my fault, you know? You are the only person who's gonna be there for yourself always. That is a very important lesson that I learned during high school. The third thing that I'm gonna tell you guys, very important, is always be yourself. So do not ever try to change yourself for friends or for a guy or a girl, or I don't know, your teacher who is being awful to you. You should never ever change yourself unless you're an awful person and you're a racist or a homophobe or a transphobe. Then you should change yourself, because y'all suck. But other than that, never ever change yourself for other people. Learn to embrace yourself and you know, just do the things you like. When I was in high school, and even now and before then, I've been a huge nerd. So right now it's Marvel, which I'll probably be doing a video about later because I have a lot of thoughts. Before that, it was like Harry Potter for a really long time during middle school. It was an anime called Yuri on Ice, which if y'all know about that, hit me up because I have some thoughts on that too. We've been through Percy Jackson, we've been through Narnia, we've been through a whole lot, alright? So yeah, always be yourself, and anybody who doesn't like that can go and eat some grass. And another thing is always take care of yourself and your mental health, because during high school, something that myself and a lot of people oftentimes do is neglect their mental health. And that's probably one of the times in your life where you should not be neglecting your mental health at all. And it's kind of that in-between stage in your life where you kind of aren't as self-aware, or you're kind of just like, oh, you know what, this is fine, I can handle it on my own. And oftentimes you can handle it on your own, or some help will get you through this difficult time, and it's not bad to require help. You know, just knowing that your family and your friends or your mentors or whoever it may be, you have people who love you and who support you, and leaning on other people is never a weakness. It just shows that you're strong, and being vulnerable is a strength. That's a T on that. One thing that I like to do is kind of come up with a self-care routine that you just grab onto with both hands and you never let go for the rest of your life. Obviously your self-care routine may change when you're 30 or when you're 40 or whatever, but you know, just for now, if you have like a routine that you do when you have a stressful day or a bad day, it really lifts up your spirits a lot more than you think. For me, it was making some tea, you know, hanging out with my friends, maybe getting a cup of coffee or going to McDonald's or something after school, spending time with my family, just even having a chat during dinner, even if I didn't feel like talking a lot, just listening to them, just having fun and chatting really helped me a lot. For my own self, like apart from the support of other people, I would watch some of my favorite movies, or like one of my favorite episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine or Friends or something. Always have some tea, always do like a face mask, put on some fuzzy socks, put on my favorite pair of pajamas. It's really important to take care of yourself, and self-care isn't always like buy yourself a nice t-shirt or make some tea or watch a movie. So that can be self-care, that definitely is self-care, but sometimes self-care is just getting up and making yourself a sandwich, or taking a shower when you're feeling really greasy, making time for yourself, making time for a shower, making time for like a 5-minute walk outside just for a breath of fresh air. So that is also self-care, and is often something that is underlooked in terms of self-care. It can be as simple as eating something good for your body, eating an apple. That's self-care, I think. For me, that's self-care. So I think those 4 things, definitely, I wish somebody had told me before high school, but I'm very grateful for having learned these things and how to deal with things during high school as well as college and middle school, and literally at any point in your life, you're going through a learning experience. Even if you make mistakes, even if you get hurt, still in the long run, it's a really good experience for yourself. You'll look back on it and you'll have learned something, and I think that's always something to be grateful for. It's always good to know things or know kind of what to expect before you go somewhere. For me, high school, people just told me to expect the workload, or to expect teachers that I didn't like, or to expect to sit through classes that I didn't like, or to expect the jump from 10th grade to 11th grade to be gigantic and awful. And those things did happen, and I learned how to deal with them, but these are some other things that I personally dealt with, and I thought that a lot of my friends and peers and people that I know have also dealt with, and I thought that it would be nice to share, because I know that I would have liked to have a video like this. Tea and chat is always the best thing for anything. I hope you guys join me with some tea of your own, or some coffee, or some cocoa as well. If not, then that's alright as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. Again, if this was helpful to you, make sure to leave a comment down below, subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.